Yeah, so back around, or to go to the lake, I just need to get to the highway. And I'm kind of lightweight rushing because I want to make sure I get. And this is that auto service place I told y'all about that looks real janky. Sometimes I like that old legacy rustic stuff. All right, let's see. Labor Road detour. Well, let's see. I think I'm going to stay on Centerville. Yeah, I'm going to stay on Centerville. I'll go down that road one of these days. But I'm going to stay on my course. Going around Vadnais Snail Lakes Regional Park. You got the biker out here. He's doing his thing. So I know this is crazy on, like in the wintertime. I bet this whole little area is crazy. And people probably be going ice fishing and all kind of stuff like that. So there's a preserve right there I just saw. Big ass houses out this way too. So now I know how to get back this way. Maybe one day I'll bring my son to the preserves out this way. It's good to kind of look at some of the preserves and whatnot, and he can kind of walk around and check things out. Because they got a Maplewood Preserve, they got an Oakdale Preserve, and you can just look at the birds, and there's usually a lake or whatever the case may be. And I think there's like a little office or something. She getting her workout in. Another big, beautiful ass house on this lake. Yeah, I would rather stay on these lakes. I know people trip on floods, but I would rather stay on these lakes and stay in these little areas with around these trees and all this beauty than be out all boxed in some big suburb that just looks modern and manufactured. I'd rather, because a lot of this stuff be custom. And this is the high school that we went to, Oscar High School. I don't want to run over the birds. Okay, y'all got to move out the way. Yeah, I just went a little, and see, it'll bring me back down. So if you stayed over here, they got some trailer parks right there. If you stayed over here, they just sent me the interview invite. Yeah, man, this is what I was talking about with the lake. You could damn near fall in this joint. For real, for real. I don't think it's that deep, but shit, you don't want to fall in. Okay, so we back up here where I kind of wanted to be. There's Twin Lake Boulevard right there. We'll tackle that one of these days. But this is probably by that lake where Mr. Ain't No Racism was at. I think it's kind of over there. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit this roundabout to get me back where I need to be. I think I just keep going. Yep. Grass Lake Place. 694 West. Yes, sir. Here we go. So yeah, that's little Canada, y'all, and White Bear Lake's kind of over there. But anyway, so yeah, we thought that being around these so-called hippie activist white liberals, we thought that everything's to the good all the time. Being around them, and we could trust them because they're just friendly and all this kind of stuff. And we were kind of sold on the idea that, well, if you just go outside the city, it's going to be some redneck that's going to string you up while they call 911 as Karens here in the city. When it's a Karen move, it's usually one of those. And it could be either party because they'll switch to whatever fits their narrative. And I understand that. I'm not stupid. However, here's the thing. Now this is another side of the lake. And I think that was that regional park lake or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to let y'all get that. So I'm going to kind of stay over here until I get on the 694 to take Highway 100. I love 694, man. 694 is one of my favorite highways. So And this is another one that we'll tackle one day. Lexington Avenue, man, Lexington. I've told y'all that's one of my favorite. I'm gonna bring y'all up the whole Lexington Avenue one day. We're gonna go all the way to the end where you can see it get real nice. Once you pass up 94, on the other side of Frogtown, and you start coming towards, you know what I'm saying, like towards this way, it gets real nice. So we gonna do that too. But anyway, I started working with a lot of these so-called conservative rednecks, as what they say, and they're a little more open to just telling you flat out, I don't rock with you like that. I noticed that that's kind of been a thing, but a lot of the ideas of living, like rural living, and just, the ideas of, I'll say, foundational freedom, Black American values. There's a lot of things that I tended to agree with, far as, family values and stuff like that. But now, I did not get confused when you run into some where they'll hit you with the, you could think independently and you'll think for yourself and lead the Democratic plantation. Well, you got one too. So I didn't, I didn't fall into not knowing that, okay, yeah, some of y'all on that Turning Point USA time. You see? So I don't take one and just say, well, that's the perfect option. That's the perfect option. No, I don't do that. It's just that as I got older, I realized that a lot of the things that I like and the things that I kind of want to be like a lot of those guys that I talked to, especially when I was working remote, they lived outside the city. And now I know why. When the homie Stack Doe told me, yeah, man, I'm up out of here. I'm like, why would bro go way out there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a rural dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? I started thinking I'm going to see the nigga in the cowboy hat and with an accordion and some straw and a shotgun sitting on his porch. I'm like, but now I see why. See, they tricked us into thinking that close proximity living and being stacked on top of each other, that's the way to move. Oh, I'm in a city. It's vibrant and city. And really, the best living you're going to get is what I just showed y'all right there. Something jumps off or whatever. Y'all ain't really coming out there like that. Them people got weapons and dogs. You go out there trying to break in their house or something like that, their neighbor's going to shoot the H out you, the SH out you. Yeah, they're going to hit you bad. So, living out there where they're at, you got a little bit more room, maybe a little bit more peace. Yeah, you got to drive maybe 40, 50, anywhere between 20 to, 40 miles out. But the living conditions is better. You dig? So, we're just passing New Brighton. 694 is something I take a lot. I don't really take 35 and 36 that much. I take 36 time to time. When I was living out in Oakdale, I took 36. But typically, I tend to take 694 a lot because it's not as bad jammed up. Like, I'm probably going to be where I need to be within like the next 10 minutes. So, as y'all can see, you got Central Avenue, University Avenue. I like Central Avenue and I like University. One day we're going to do a Central Avenue. Another day University goes so damn far. But one day what we're going to do is we're going to do a whole University. We're going to do a whole Central Avenue. That's Minneapolis. One day we're going to do a Lake Street. And from time to time, I might kind of hop out here and there. But the thing is you just don't want to really leave your car running too much. Like I say, I don't really be having no issues or whatever like that. So I don't, maybe because I don't be in the city as much as I used to, and I don't really just hang around. I do what I need to do and I move around. But when I go to these gas stations, man, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know if because I look aware, but I really don't be having situations where guys be pressing up on me and looking like they trying to carjack and doing little stuff like that. You know, I don't know. Maybe they probably figured that maybe I got the Lord's favor, or maybe they probably figured that, you know, he ain't really got nothing going on, or he ain't an op, or whatever the case may be, or, you know, maybe they kind of like, well, shit, if I try to run up on him, shit, he might give me a 3-piece. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they thinking that. Or maybe they thinking, you know, because you got to understand, when people be doing all this carjacking and stuff, like, they look for certain people. First of all, they want to make sure you're unaware, and the second of all, they want to make sure, like, okay, he's not a wolf. Because if they think you could be a wolf, wolves really don't like messing with wolves. And if they think you a werewolf, they like, man, I don't know about this dude here. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I guess, like I say, when I move around and I'm not, like I say, I don't be lurking around and doing all this here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, for the most part, man, people don't really be bothering me like that, man. Maybe it could be the energy. Maybe it could be, I mean, I don't know. Don't nobody be bothering me like that, man. And I don't be bothering anybody else. I just be going on about my business. But I be knowing who I be running into. If I see a slimy salamander amphibious Negro, you know what I'm saying, kind of lurking around and stuff like that, I keep my eyes open like, okay, what's this dude on? The other day, I seen some footage, and I might put it in here, I don't know. But they had, I might do a reaction for that, but they had somebody got ate up at the Erder Station number 1, not the Honeybee. Was it 1 or 2? One or the other. I never, ever pumped gas there. Not once. I did stop there one time to get some snacks or whatever the case may be, but you know, man, and Stack Go could attest to this. Man, you need to really really kind of get going over there. You just don't really need to be trying to do a bunch of stopping and all that right there. You know what I mean? Like, you need to kind of be on. All right, so Highway 100. Damn, I done got there already? 252? Okay. You see he got his boat? I don't like being behind this. This is like some Final Destination stuff right here. Yeah, I'm almost in my destination to a certain degree. It's Highway 100. So let me move on over here. A lot of people, yeah, I'm damn near to my destination, man. A lot of people, on Fridays, they go up to their cabins and stuff like that. They take half days and things of that nature. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, y'all, but that interview kind of threw me off. But I might chop some of this stuff up and make it even smaller. I might do that. And if I got time, which I got to be back soon. Like they said, 11 o'clock. Okay, so, yeah, they on top of it. So they moved it. I don't know why they moved it. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know why they moved that interview. They must have got another interview in real quick. But I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. But I think what could have happened, this is what I think could have happened. Somebody, they might have had something that they had to deal with, because I think this is a hiring manager or some kind of situation where they had to deal with, and they moved it again. So one thing I'll tell y'all when y'all doing interviews, it's better to say yes. You heard when the guy asked me, he said, "Hey, can you do this?" "Oh yeah, I got you." "Can you do this?" "Yep." Because see, when they hear the word no, now you done You know, because this day I scheduled out. I scheduled it around a haircut. So I would have canceled my haircut if you know, and I would have just kind of went in the way I was. But I like to have that little fresh look, that fresh look. My hair could have, you know, it could have waited. If they wanted to move it up even sooner, then I would have pulled over and, like, that's another piece of game that I need to break down for y'all too. You want to have a set of interview clothes. Damn, I hate it when they do that. You want to have a set of interview clothes. Anytime, you know, you're in that interview mode, because you might be able to hit the jackpot and you might be at work somewhere. Like I said, don't have no loyalty with these bastards, man. You might be somewhere at work and somebody say, hey, there's a last minute interview. It could have opened up, but they need to account for their time. Time is money in these businesses. So you might have somebody where they cancel the interview, and then now they might ask you, hey, could you make it today? Because they don't know how your day is. You could have a slow day or whatever. Let's say they say, hey, can you make it at 3 o'clock? Well, it's 1 o'clock and you're at work, and let's say you ain't really got too much going on. Man, don't you know that if you got time, you could tell your supervisor, whatever, hey, look, something just came up. I need to skate out of here. Is there anything pressing? And then you just go ahead and then you just roll out. Because you ain't, like you said, you ain't trying to be there no way. You trying to move around. That's why you taking the interview. So you take the interview, you throw on your little clothes, especially if it's remote, and go find your car, you know what I'm saying, and do what you do. You know what I mean? For real. For real. I'm telling you. I learned that around that managed service provider interview that I did. That managed service provider interview that I did a long time ago. I learned that from that white lady. Never forgot it. She said, keep your clothes in your truck. Or, you know, in your trunk. I'm sorry. Keep your interview clothes in your trunk. And the reason for that is you might just get a call. And, you know, she was the one that I was telling y'all that, because I'm telling you that's another story that I got to do too. It was a super thick Susie. And, you know, I never really, you know, that was never really my thing. But for a Susie, she was pretty bad. She was pretty bad. For Negroes that swing that way, they would have broke their neck. That's never really been my thing. But, you know, but some of them recruiter white ladies, they used to be choosing. And, you know, in that world, when you a black man and you in IT and the Susies are choosing for brothers that like to swing that way, they choose hard. They choose and they flirt real hard. There's no denying about it. There's no dilly-dallying around or whatever like that. They really let it be known. They get the rubbing on your arms or your back, or they'll make it seem like it's a buddy old pal thing, but they want to see the contour of your shoulders. You know, somebody gonna take that. They want to see them. They want to. They're making it seem like it's a buddy old pal, but they're doing a contour shoulder. They want to see those slopes. They want to feel those slopes and the contour shape of your shoulders. Dead ass. They do. They for sure do. Oh, bro already here. Yeah, bro already here. Maybach outside. Yes, sir. With the Maybach outside today. First time doing a IT interview in a Maybach. So that's kind of interesting, but you know, shout out to bro. I was gonna have to go over south and and do it. He's like, man, you want to take it in the back of the back? All right, bet. For sure. I absolutely will do that. Being black in IT. Being black in IT, man. You know, when I put this is my interview joint. Whenever I do this, I'm doing some serious business real quick. I'm doing serious business. Let's get the interview stuff together. Yeah, I see why the rappers get these. I understand now. I see why they get them. Cause this is literally an office. You could damn near sleep in this joint. Yes, you can. Yeah, I understand. So yeah, I had a couple different technical difficulties, y'all, and you got to think on your feet with IT. You really got to think on your feet. You see, I got the Brother Malcolm thing going on here. You have to think about, because people want a quick resolution. Now, this was Microsoft Teams. Now, I know people personally that had problems where they were just getting ready to get inside an interview, and for some weird reason, Teams wouldn't work because of the inputs. And most of the time, it's because of just the input-output under the audio settings when you're using a browser. I personally don't like messing with the Microsoft Teams app because it starts logging into different things if you have different accounts. I like using Microsoft Teams, the browser. But you need to have this straightened out 15 minutes before. You need to test this. If you got to use online screen recorder and test it, you need to test it. You need to make sure that it's working. You need your audio to be on point, because you do not want to have a situation where you're late and things just ain't working because you don't have things in order or whatever the case may be. You don't want a situation like that, because otherwise, you know, it for some particular reason, it just won't, you know, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good for you, man. It's going to look very, very bad. So, you want to have that worked out. I fixed it real quick. I had an extra set of headphones, and so I'll kind of let y'all know how it goes after that. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna put this on. This is a better place. My seatbelt. So, Blunders 101. Make sure your laptop's charged. This has never happened to me, but you know I gotta keep it 100, man. I gotta keep it. No, shout out to the homie, man. But I was hot as hell up in that damn car. I should have told him, man, turn this joint on. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't text. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I guess I could have took it in here, but my battery still would have went out. So I had a full charge when I left the house. But sometimes those batteries, hold on.